How do you create three-column web pages with Groove? In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to show you an example of doing just that I showed on a live Q&A today. But before we get into the video, make sure you like and subscribe and hit that bell so you get all the notifications of new videos that we're coming out with at Groove Tutorials. All right, let's get into the video about how you create a three-column layout using Groove pages.
So if we go to the page, so I'm just kind of, you can see, like, if you see this resilience coaching here, it's slightly higher there. I don't know quite why these arrows are all aligned here, but these ones down here aren't. Let me just move that out of the way. So should I go? I'll go to the page. Can you see that? That's slight,
Yeah,
this one.
yep.
So, is that just a vertical spacing issue? The text is the same. And actually, the other thing is when these they were underneath and they were all centered, when I moved them up, they all became left aligned. And I don't know if that's just a simple thing there or whether that's going to mess up the on other devices or whatever. And how do I do that here?
Okay, so the way you center an object is by the container that's holding it.
Okay, so this
Well,
list container.
you've got a list container inside a container. Just for everybody's benefit, list containers are useless. They don't add any functionality, and I would not use list containers at all. I would just put my list items into a regular container. The reason is click the list container
Yeah.
and go to layout
Oh,
on the
here.
right. Mm-hmm.
This layout here.
Yeah. Drop down the oh yeah, we can. Okay, my bad. Click the vertical. Okay, I'll show you what. And then click the center.
This one?
Secondary, second from the left. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Oh,
Okay.
perfect.
But
Yeah.
see what it did is it centered all of your text items as well.
Got you.
So what you want is you don't want that button inside the same container that you have the list elements in. You need that button in its own container, or click on the 497 text element. Is that in its own container? No, that's in the list container as well. So you've got everything here. If you want to center something in a column like this, but not center other things in the column, you have to separate them out by containers. So
Got you.
for the list items, you want them in their own container, so they're all left justified, as opposed to the button, you want that to be in, you want a separate container there at the top. What I would do is pull in a new container. Well, actually click on the 12-week group course. Yeah, see, everything you have here is in the list container, which is you're not gonna be able to choose. Some of it is left justified and some of it is center.
Right.
So what you need is a container for your top three elements
Got you.
that you can center them all. Then you need a container just for your list elements so that you can left justify them.
Yes.
And then another container, it looks like, for your resilience group coaching,
Yeah.
so that can be centered. And then the same thing down at the bottom. Click on the access. Yeah, down at the bottom, those elements they need to be in their own container so that they can be left justified.
Yeah. So how do you do that? How do you put these things into a container?
So here's my rule of thumb. When you put a three-column structure on your page, the first thing to do is to drag new containers inside of each of the column containers. So when you do a three-column structure, it's going to come in with default containers in each column. The reason that I do it that way is you cannot drag a default container from any structure to another place. It's impossible to do it. Or you can't duplicate it and drag the duplicated version of it. You can only drag a container from one column to another if it's the secondary container. And by that, I mean, when you bring in the 3-column structure, you have 3 containers there, but those are not going to be able to be moved to or copied to other containers. By putting a new container inside of column 1, you can completely format it the way you want it. Like you would have a container at the top and you would put, so what I would do is drag one container inside of column 1. Then I would drag another container inside that container and duplicate it. So now I have a container that I can put my top elements in and a container that I can put my list elements in. Now I have control over, the vertical, the horizontal left, right, center for each of those different sections. Once I have it configured, I can go to the secondary container I brought in, duplicate it, and drag it into the other 2 columns and get exactly the same formatting in the column 2 and column 3. If you don't do that, you've got to go through that entire format process for every column in the container, or every container in every column in the 3-column layout.
Yeah. So at this point, should I just start again with a new
Yep. So here's the question. I would love to rebuild this and show you exactly how to do it. If you would send me your login credentials and I can share screen and just build it right here so everybody can see. How does that sound?
Yeah. You want to do that now?
Okay. So I'm going to go into groovepages, and can I assume it's the first one here, or which one am I working with?
Yes, that's right, Kevin.
Okay. And then which page?
Yeah, it's in the nav. So it's the building resilience. So that first one in the drop down, yeah.
Okay.
It's right down the bottom.
This one right here.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is its own block, which is great. And what I'm going to do is just build the structure, and you can come back and work on the colors if you want. So I'm going to go get an empty block with an empty container. And then I notice you have 2 sections here. One is you have something across the entire container, and then you have this second one with 3 columns. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to elements, and I'm going to go to grab a container and put it in here. And then this is a secondary container now, and I'm going to duplicate it. So I have room at the top for the group, for the text at the top, and I have room at the bottom for the 3 columns. So while I'm here, I'm just going to actually, I'll quick go look at what your background color is here. Copy that. I'm going to put that color on this new one. All right. And then I'm going to duplicate this text, pull it up into column, the first one, and duplicate this text. Put it up there. I mean, while we're here, let's just do it all right. 48 and 48. So let's go spacing. Top and bottom head 48. All right, so see how it's developing here. Now we need the 3-column layout. So we're going to go to elements, take the 3 columns and pull it in here. And this is where I don't just start editing and putting the stuff into this empty container. This container cannot be duplicated and dragged to anywhere else. So what we first want to do is we're going to go to elements, and we're going to pull a container in here. And then I'm going to also duplicate that container. So what I've got is I've got 2 containers inside of the main container of this column, which is going to let me do this top portion and then the second portion. Now, we'll just do it that way for now. And then actually, see on this 3rd column, do you want this resilience group coaching and one-to-one coaching to be centered, or can it be left justified as well?
Ideally centered.
Okay. In that case, what I'm going to do, because I know that in the end, I need one column for
Actually,
this.
left is fine. Actually, left is fine.
Left is fine. Okay.
Yeah, because that kind of does look a bit, it looks fine like
Okay.
that.
So I'm going to go ahead and grab this text and pull it up into the top container. Duplicate this one, pull that into the top container as well. Duplicate this button, pull that up into the top container as well. And I noticed when I clicked on the button that there most likely is spacing on this. So you've got 10 above and 36 below. I would never do that. I would never put some above and some below. This is just us. We always push things down the page. That way we always know where the spacing is to look for, which I think is part of what you're running into down here where this isn't lining up. You have spacing, different spacing on your buttons from column to column. That's my guess. So what I'm going to do is just for now, I'm just going to check the spacing on these because they're yours. Okay, so you have 16 below. Perfect. This text is, let's check the spacing on that. You got 0 below that, but I noticed you wanted 10 above. Basically, you put 10 above the button. So I'm going to put 10 there, and then I'm going to click on this button, and I'm going to go change the spacing. I'm going to get rid of this 10 at the top. We have the same number. We have the same spacing. It's just that I don't have spacing on top and bottom. I'm just pushing things down the page, if that makes sense. So then the final thing I'm going to do is in this container, which is holding the text and the button, I'm going to go to the layout and I'm going to change this to vertical center. All right. So we've got our top set up the way we want it. Now we want these list icons in this second container, which is another secondary container inside the main container. Okay. So I'm just going to do those and duplicate them and pull those up in here. And let's see, I'll do it one at a time here. Make sure I'm grabbing the entire list icon. No, see, now watch the dotted lines here. If I pull it down, I'm actually putting it in the main container instead of in the secondary container. You see how it got big? So I want to pay attention to that. And if I can't get it to go, there we go. So now the small dotted line shows me that I'm in the secondary container, which is where I want to be. So I'm going to drop it there. Yep. And let's go do this one. Duplicate. So I want to follow that same process, and it's fun. I'm just going to drop that one. Okay, 12. No, we put it up above, didn't we? Let's see, we're supposed to have 12. Yeah, this one here. It's easier now to grab this, by the way, and put it in between them than it is. I say it's easier. I got it. That's the way I want it, right? The other thing I want, I'm going to go ahead while I'm here. See, I may have made a mistake here. I probably needed one more. I probably wanted one more container inside this container. Let's see if it's possible to do that. And I'm going to show you in a minute why this, I don't want it. I want it in the main container. There we go. Okay, I'm putting this container. It's a secondary container. Then I want to grab these two containers and pull them. This is the secondary, pull them into here. Yeah, this is going to be tough. Let me grab this. I'm putting it in that bottom new container. I'm going to grab this one now and see if I can put it inside. I think I may have messed up there. All right, this is the one now I'm going to put the color on. You also have a couple of corners there. I'm not sure. I don't know if you know what it is. We can come back to that. Background is white. Yeah, let's check our corners here. Oh, we're on the list container. Let's go to the main container to find those borders. 4. Okay. This is the one I want. Borders. Corners. So I'm trying to make it exactly the way you had it.
Yeah, it was a groove template, by the way.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Remember what I said about groove templates long ago? All right, we're going to try now to put this. Now see our outline moved again. We want it inside the smaller one, and it's forcing me to put it in the larger one. I'm going to put it in there. Take this one and move it right there. Okay, we're getting there. And we're going to do this one, duplicate. Right. Once I get this set up, this will all make sense. I say, hopefully. We still got to move this one. Okay, now, this is essentially what we're looking for. We want to put some spacing in this container because you had some spacing on the side there. So, sorry, not size, spacing. And I should check what you have, but I'm just going to put 10 in here. That looks pretty similar. And then I'm just going to put a little spacing on the inside of this white area as well. So I'm going to put 20 in there. We're getting close, right, to what you have down there. Now, the reason I put all of those containers in there is because, remember, every layout comes in with one container. If I were to have done all of that work inside of this container, and then I wanted to, because what I want to do now is I did all that work. I don't want to do it again in column 2 and column 3. What I want to do is I want to take what I've already done and move it over here. But if I had done it in the main container and I duplicate that container, I can't drag it. There's no drag handle. You can never drag a main container within Groove. So what I can do, though, is that I can go to my secondary container, which was the one that's holding the other containers. I can duplicate this. I can drag it now. So now I can drag this here, do the same thing, get my secondary container, duplicate it, drag it here. And now I've got the ability to just start changing data here.
Yeah.
And you see how things are lined up. Now, this is kind of a difficult, let's duplicate this and pull it up into the one above there. See if we can put it below what would be the last one. Okay, that worked. Except I think you've got some spacing in there. No, 16 below, that's fine. And it's centered. So that's what you want, right?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
And then we're gonna do the same thing here. Pull it up, put it. This is the fun part is there we go. And then the text needs to be changed. Actually, access weekly, all the stuff at the top stays the same, right?
Yeah. The last 2 columns are just additional things.
Yep.
So in fact, you could just duplicate column 2 if you want.
Exactly. So instead of now you have a little bit more over here. So we would go over to the 3rd column, go to our secondary container and just delete it. Then grab this one. Does that work?
Yeah, exactly. Because then that column is just a couple more items.
Yeah, a couple more items there, and everything is lined up on the left the way you want it. Everything is lined up left to right. and you're good to go.
And if I want to have those boxes the same size,
Which
how do I do
boxes?
so those three columns, as I'm adding more items to column 2 and column 3, if I want to
Yes.
column 1, they're all the same size. What is there a way of doing that?
That's a great question. It has to do with the size.
If not, it's not a problem because it just accentuates that you're getting more stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm,
No,
I'm
you
happy.
can do it. I'm trying this. Nope, it's not lining up.
Hitting enter and enter, would that not bring the box down?
It'll be a problem when you go to the mobile. You're going to cause yourself a headache when you start going over here. But the answer is yes. And the other answer is you're going to be putting space inside of a list icon, which you don't really want to do.
Right. So I should now just be able to just drag those 2 additional items and they,
I mean, if you want to do something like this, you can go to that secondary container. Actually, what I wanted to do was the primary container. No. Oh, I see. Okay. Now let's go to this one. Let's go to the secondary container and go size. There we go. Okay, so I had to make the main container relative to parent height 100%, and then the secondary had to be 100% also so that it would fill up that primary container.
And if I add the next 2 items to column 3, then will I just need to do that again?
It will automatically work for column 1 now because I have it set up. But what we got to do is, so the main container, we're going to go to size and we're going to make it relative to parent 100%. That is correct. Let's go to the secondary container, check size and make that 100%. Whoops. Now over here, we were gonna grab this, pull it up here. You see how the other 2 grew when we did that. So what I would do is on this text, make it left justified now.
Well, no, center's fine because the other one's centered.
Oh yeah. Okay. There you go.
Perfect.
Any questions? I got to hop off it here. I was supposed to be on.
No, amazing, Kevin. Thank you. That's
I mean, I'm here. I hate to leave it undone.
That I shall be bookmarking this video for future reference.
There you go.
Perfect.
And then I think maybe, yeah, no, that's exactly what you wanted right there.
Yeah.
All right, I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss anything else that we're putting out here at Groove Tutorials. And until then, let's keep grooving and get groovier every day.